This is Oahu, Hawaii, an island packed with crystal clear water, legendary beaches, amazing food, and views that never get old. In this video, we're taking you from the heart of Waikiki to the laid-back North Shore, tackling iconic hikes, hunting down the best local eats, swimming with sea turtles, and sharing all of our favourite spots along the way. Now let's get into it. After a red-eye flight from Sydney that just took under 9 hours, we landed in Oahu early in the morning and headed straight to one of the best coffee spots in Waikiki, Kona Coffee purveyors. They're known for their delicious pastries and great coffee, which I'm sure you'll know can sometimes be a little bit difficult to find in America. Now it is popular, so expect a morning line. If you can, go off-peak. Since we couldn't check into our hotel yet, we spent the morning wandering around Waikiki and eventually stopped at Asatos for a Lee Hing flavoured sorbet. After an overnight flight, it was exactly what we needed. It was cold, refreshing, and honestly so good. Another spot you have to check out while you're in Waikiki is the International Marketplace. It is packed with shops, restaurants, and a surprisingly decent food court. By this point, we had been awake for well over 20 hours, so after finally checking into our hotel, we took some time to relax and recharge before heading out for the evening. And there was only one place I wanted to go, RumFire. This has to be one of my favourite bars in Waikiki. They have fantastic drinks, the views are incredible, and it's just the perfect place to watch the sun go down. After a good night's sleep, we started the day with a run along Waikiki Beach, followed by an acai bowl at Hawaiian Aroma Caffe.
Here's a one-bite review, after many bites already. It's good, but does it beat Fruitologist?
The weather was looking a little overcast, so we decided to get our shopping done early and headed over to the Moana Center. Moana is actually the largest open-air shopping center in the world, with more than 350 stores and restaurants. You can walk here from Waikiki in about 40 minutes, but we took the much easier option and jumped on the bus, which took us around 15 minutes. If you're using public transport in Oahu, you'll need a holo card, which is available at most ABC stores. Later in the afternoon, we headed over to Marugame Udon, which is one of the most popular places to eat on the island. Now the lines here can be huge, but we had actually timed it perfectly and arrived around 3 p.m, which meant we walked straight in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the louder you get, the faster you spin!
A non-negotiable for me when I come to Waikiki is getting a lava flow from the beach bar at the Moana Surf Rider. This drink always hits, and they usually have fantastic live music, which makes it such a great place to relax. To finish the night, we headed over to Maui Brewing Company and ordered a beer flight each. It's always such a fun atmosphere in there, and trying a few different beers and IPAs felt like the perfect way to end the day. The next morning, we had a buffet breakfast at Duke's Waikiki. Now, this is a breakfast view I could definitely get used to. Now, big call, but Island Vintage Coffee still has my favorite acai bowls. Nothing else comes close. These are seriously addictive, and I end up craving them for months after Hawaii. They're fresh, delicious, and I could honestly eat one every day.
Somebody sitting in my rocking chair.
Bright and early the next morning, we were up for one of Oahu's most famous hikes, Koko Head. The trail follows an old military railway track from World War II and consists of more than 1,000 railway steps straight up the side of a crater. It's definitely a workout, but the views at the top make it worth every step. From the summit, you get incredible views across Kahana Bay and the southeastern coastline of Oahu. Whew. As we did it, now we can go to the beach and enjoy the rest of our day. Have some ice cream.
Another lovely night.
We're in the International Marketplace.
Hello.
We ended the night at Splash Bar with some Kahlua pork nachos, followed by a pina colada, which is apparently the best on the island. The next morning, we tackled another iconic Oahu hike, Diamond Head. This volcanic crater was formed around 300,000 years ago and is one of Hawaii's most recognizable landmarks. My biggest tip for this hike is to do it early. There isn't much shade at all and it gets incredibly hot once the sun is up. Once we got to the top, we were rewarded with some of the most amazing views over Waikiki and the coastline. The rest of the day was spent exactly how a Hawaii holiday should be spent, at the beach and by the hotel pool. And yes, we went back to RumFire again, it's just too good not to. Today our morning started at Iolani Palace and we joined a self-guided tour. Iolani Palace is actually the only royal palace in the United States and was once home to Hawaii's last reigning monarchs. One really interesting fact is that the palace had electricity before the White House. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to take videos of inside the palace, but we were allowed to take photos, and it was really fascinating learning more about Hawaii's history. After visiting the palace, we headed over to the famous Leonards Bakery for some warm malasadas. We ordered a box of 6, which had 2 guava, 2 mango, and 2 cinnamon. The filled ones are delicious, but my personal favorite will always be the classic cinnamon. Thank you. For dinner, we went to Hula Grill. This is another fantastic place if you want to eat dinner with a great view. I would suggest booking for sunset because it is extra pretty. Portions here are huge and we finished the night with a hula pie. And yes, it was every bit as good as people say. The next day, we checked out of Waikiki and began making our way to Oahu's North Shore. First stop was Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is one of the most significant historical sites in the United States and marks the location of the attack on December 7, 1941, which ultimately led to America's entry into World War II.
Time to go into the sub. It's kind of hot. It's definitely warm down here. Pretty wild to think that there were actually people who served on the sub. It was 80 years ago now. Yeah. We've been spending months down here.
Andrew's dad received a recommendation from an Uber driver about a roadside pie shop selling New Zealand pies. Naturally, we had to investigate. Now, shockingly, these pies cost $12 each, which is roughly 18 Australian. $18 for one pie. Were they good? Yes. Were they $18 good? I'm not entirely convinced. One thing we noticed in Hawaii was how popular ube flavored food and drinks are, so we picked up a few groceries to try for ourselves before heading to Sevenbrothers. And wow, these burgers were elite. The fries were fantastic and the sauce drizzled on top was delicious. It was the perfect way to end our first night on the North Shore. With another beautiful day ahead of us, we went for a run down to Turtle Bay Resort. If this place looks familiar, it's because scenes from Forgetting Sarah Marshall were filmed here. The resort and beach here are absolutely beautiful. After our run, we headed into Haleiwa, which is one of my favourite towns on the entire island. We briefly stopped at Haleiwa Bowls for an acai, and it's definitely worth adding to your North Shore itinerary. Next stop was Laniakea Beach, which is famous for its sea turtles. I absolutely love snorkeling, so I was so excited to jump in. The visibility wasn't amazing on this particular day, but seeing turtles in the wild never gets old. The North Shore is also famous for its food trucks. We stopped for the famous garlic shrimp at Giovanni's. Now personally, I don't eat shrimp, but according to Andrew and his mum, they were garlicky, delicious, and completely worth the hype. Today was also Andrew's birthday, so we celebrated with dinner at the Beach House by Roy Yamaguchi at Turtle Bay. The food was fantastic, service was a little slow, but honestly, we were on island time. And to make up for it, they brought out every dessert on the menu, which was such a thoughtful surprise. The following day took us to one of the North Shore's most iconic spots, Ted's Bakery. As always, there was a line, which seems to be a recurring theme in Hawaii, but clearly it is worth it.
They didn't have cheese omelets, but they had ham and cheese omelets. Explain to me that one. You could literally just go, yo, I want a ham and cheese omelet, hold the ham. And they're like, nope, can't do that. It's gotta be ham and cheese.
After walking off our breakfast, we spent most of the day at Turtle Beach, where we snorkeled with fish and sea turtles. This beach quickly became one of our favourites. It's beautiful, it feels a little more secluded, and it is fantastic for families. These look really good. That
Good
sauce looks
done.
good too.
Some flies around there.
Oh, it's really hot. I can't do it.
It's too hot?
It's really hot. Yeah, it's really hot. But let's just leave this so it doesn't spill. Later that afternoon, we explored some of the local walking trails before discovering Keiki Beach, and honestly, I wish we'd found this place sooner. It was quiet, peaceful, and had the perfect protected swimming area. It was one of the cutest beaches we've come across anywhere. Oahu adventure continued and we grabbed breakfast at Farm to Barn, which had live music, great food, and such a fun atmosphere. We then drove past a macadamia nut farm, so we decided to stop by. Interestingly, while Hawaii is famous for macadamia nuts, they're actually native to Australia. The Hawaiian Islands now produce the majority of the macadamia nuts grown in the United States. What we all really liked about this place was that you got to try all the different flavored macadamia nuts, but honestly, one of the highlights for me was just seeing the hens randomly laying eggs next to the macadamia nuts. Spent most of the afternoon and evening hanging out at Turtle Beach before having dinner at the George Fazio Golf Club. The next morning was bittersweet. Today was our last full day in paradise, so we made sure not to waste a second of it. On the drive back to Waikiki, we made a few last stops. First was the Crouching Lion, a cafe tucked between the mountains and the ocean. It's one of those places where the view takes your breath away. Our second stop was Chinaman's Hat, officially known as Mokoli'i. This small, offshore island is one of Oahu's most photographed landmarks and has appeared in several Hollywood movies over the years. Eventually, we made it back to Waikiki for one final night. And for our last dinner, there was only one place we wanted to be, Duke's. Sitting beachfront, watching the sunset, and reflecting on the trip felt like the perfect way to finish. And just like that, our Oahu adventure came to an end. This was my 7th trip to Hawaii, and somehow I still find new things to love every single time I visit. Whether you're here for the beaches, the food, the hikes, or simply the laid-back island lifestyle, Oahu really is a special place. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your favorite spots in Hawaii down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Mahalo a nui loa.